guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to only reading fantasy books for an entire week. So I know that this is a super ambitious weekly TBR. By no means am I expecting myself to finish all of these books, but I figured I would at least try to get through the majority of them. Let's go through the set list. Number 1 is the very last book of the Heroes of Olympus series. I have spent the majority of September only reading these 5 books because they're all over 500 pages. They take a chunk of time to finish. This one I believe is only 502. I say only very lightly. And this is the very last book. It's called The Blood of Olympus. It's stunning. This is such a cool cover to me, and the gold titling to me is just amazing. I'm very excited to read this book. I actually started this morning. I'm only 11 pages in. I do believe I will finish this book by the end of the week. I'm starting this on a Tuesday, so we shall see by next Tuesday how much I get done. The second book on my set list / TBR for this video is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Like I said in so many other videos, I finished Powerless and Powerful in August. Fantasy is the definition of fall. So I'm very excited about this book. I randomly got in the mood to start it last night. I didn't because I fell asleep, but I definitely want to get to this. This one I believe is the shortest book out of all of them. It is only 377 pages. I should be able to finish this book within a day or two. We'll see if that actually happens. The third book on this TBR is one that I'm very loosely saying that I'm going to read this. This doesn't really have a timeline. This is actually my book club book for September, so I just have to finish it by September 30th. That is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have no idea what this book is about. All I know is that it's about a night circus that only appears at night. There's no signs, there's no nothing. It's just about a really famous magician that has real magic. It's not like an illusion. He actually has powers, I guess. I read the first 24 pages. So far, I'm very interested, very intrigued. It is heavy on the history side. It's based in, like, I want to say maybe the 1800s. This chapter says, yeah, 1874. So heavy on the historical fiction, heavy on the magical realism aspects. And now for the most ambitious book of this entire TBR, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I have reread this book already. I've read this book once, reread it once. This is going to be my second reread of this book. I just got the craving to reread this book. The story of Nesta and her redemption arc and her training and everything about it is really just tugged on my heartstrings. It is a 6-star read for me. This is 800 pages. Like, who is gonna finish this in a week? Not me, probably not me, but I definitely want to reread this. Who knows if this is going to last a month or if this is gonna last 2 weeks or 1 week, but I'm gonna film as much as I possibly can, at least picking up 3 of these books. But this is a TBR. Without further ado, let's get to reading. I read a little bit more last night and I made it past the 100 page mark. So now it's day 2. As you can see, brand new day, brand new clothes. I'm on page 172. So far, I'm really enjoying this book. I have enjoyed the whole series. I honestly think it might be one of my favorite series of all time, or maybe just childhood related. I really love it. I'm very much intrigued. The storyline is getting intense. There's a lot of action scenes. There's a lot of hidden secrets that have to come out. A lot of things to look forward to. I really like it. So far, the points of view in this story have been my least favorite. My favorites are Percy, Annabeth, and Leo. Right now, we have Nico, which is cool. Nico's point of view is cool because we haven't gotten his point of view in a while. Raina and Piper. Piper's not really my favorite point of view. Raina's new, so we'll see if I like that. I'm trying to get to the halfway mark today, which would be 250 pages, but I'm trying to aim for 300 so that I can finish this book tomorrow and then start another one tomorrow. Because if I want to read 4 books in 1 week, normally that would be doable doable, but these books are all over 500 pages, except one. So if they were all 300, easy, cheese. But since one of them's 800, this one's 500, another one is like 516 or whatever, and then one of them is like 380 something. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So we'll see if I can get to all four, but as of right now, we're gonna keep reading The Blood of Olympus. It is actually 2 days later and I have officially finished The Blood of Olympus. I actually finished this last night, so I'm very happy about that. I had a lot of emotions and mixed feelings, honestly, about this book. The determined rating and full review will be at the end of this video, just because this book was so long, the series was so long. I don't want to just jump into a rating and a review right after finishing it. So I'm gonna sit on this for a little bit, but next up on my list that I feel like reading right now is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So as I said in the intro, I am on page 25. So I'm going to get reading. This book has in total 512 pages. Pretty thick book, and I saw someone's review that she said it was slow and atmospheric. That is not my kind of fantasy. I like high stakes, action, fast-paced type of writing. So we'll see how I'm going to feel about this book and if I'm going to enjoy it, but I have to read it anyway because it's my book club book. So without further ado, cue the reading montage. Okay guys, due to unforeseen circumstances, which is literally just my mood, I actually ended up starting Reckless by Lauren Roberts. As you saw me pick up the book, I made it to page, I think 50 is what you saw last in this one, and it's not that I lost interest because I'm definitely still interested, but I just got the urge to read Reckless. So I did. I finished this book in 3 days. I don't know why. I was reading this book in the midst of a very, very busy weekend. I am filming this clip on a Tuesday, which is a week from last Tuesday. So I ended up only reading 2 fantasy books out of the 4, but no fear, I'm going to continue this video until I finish all 4, just because I think that'll be fun. I have a list of things that I wrote down about what I thought while reading this book. I didn't give you updates because I read it so quickly. Like, I just have to read you what I was thinking because I read it in 3 days. It took me longer than I had anticipated. Thought I was going to finish it in 2 days, but let me just show you what I thought. I have my computer. Within the first like 28 pages, way too much alliteration. If you don't know what alliteration is, it's just like using sentences and using words within those sentences that all start with the exact same words. It was crazy how much alliteration was in this book. To give you an example, it's like the beauty built up between our breaths. Like just using the same letter over and over and over again to start all these like seemingly poetic words, but it was just too much. Like when I tell you, it was in every single paragraph, almost every single sentence. I was like, girl, you are a good writer, you're skilled, but it's too much. It's just too much. Then I felt like Lauren is trying too hard at having ornate sentences. Like she tried way too hard to make them lyrical and pretty and flowery and descriptive. I wrote smother is literally her favorite word. There was actually alliteration in almost every sentence, sometimes twice. 138 pages of sand, wounds, and absolutely no plot. Seems like Lauren wanted to play with words and see how many metaphors and alliteration she could weave into the attempted tension between Kai and Peyton. It doesn't really flow well from the events of the previous book to now, and it just seems like a forced attempt of angsty romance that an actual realistic plotline for a romantasy novel. Lurch, fumble, stumble, smother. Those are her favorite words to use. Glimpsing the glimmer of hope on his hip. 2 alliterations and 1 metaphor, all to say he had a dagger on his hip. I'm trying to like this, I really am, but it's just one long and excruciatingly uneventful conversation, which is what I felt like how the book was going at that point. Unfortunately, like now that I finished it, literally until probably page 250, this book was just walking, horseback riding, and bleeding. Like that literally was it. Like nothing was happening at all. Page 171, something has finally abruptly happened. And then the last thing I wrote before I finished the book was, Kit has nothing better to do as king than write about how sad he is. He's had a month of his own pity party and the only thing he's done is write letters about his feelings. I thought this man had important work to do, but instead the only reason he has a bunch of papers in front of him is because he's writing a diary. Unacceptable. Rise to the occasion, boy. Don't whine and cry about it. Like this guy is literally a king. He had just become a king and he's not doing anything. He's is just throwing his food out a window and running about his feelings. Come on, dude, do something. You're a king now. You gotta run your kingdom. All that to say, I have finished this book, and in the middle of reading it, I was like, this is a 2.5. Like, I understand Destiny Sidwell's review. I did my best to not listen to anybody's review of this book, not read them, not listening to them on YouTube, because I wanted my own opinion. Now I have it. I will say the ending of this book saved it for me, to be honest. Like, the last, from, I guess I want to say like page 270 to the last page is 377. So the last 100 pages of this book, I actually like flew by. They flew by. I was really, really into it. I was interested in how Lauren finally wrote the culmination of their romance, because at first 2/3 of the book, it was just angsty, enemies to lovers, I hate you, but I actually love you. And it was just like too much. It was just a lot of nothing, honestly. When you read fantasy or romantasy, you do read it for some kind of plot. Like, yeah, romance is heavy, but you do want some action to happen. There was action in this book, but it was kind of just like, oh, I'm running from you, and I'm running into you, but I'm still running away. Like, it was just a lot of running away. So nothing actually of substance happened, but the ending was really, really good, really, really cool. But I will say I did guess the actual ending. Like, I did guess the last 5 pages in the beginning of the book. I don't know how she's gonna incorporate this into the last book. I have an idea, but I don't know why that was the direction she chose taking the story. That's where we're at right now. I have finished this book. I know that it's over 2.5 stars. We'll see what the rating's gonna be. Now that I finished the second fantasy book of this video, I'm going to continue reading The Night Circus. I have like 400 pages left to go. I'm gonna continue reading this. Okay guys, I'm outside on this beautiful fall day, and I'm going to sit here and read as much of The Night Circus as possible, because I have been completely slacking on this book like crazy. I read maybe like 40 pages a day, which for me is not anywhere near enough because I have a time limit on this book. So right now I am on page 187. I have been really enjoying this book. I think it is very, very good. This is probably one of my favorite writing styles, where I've heard people describe this book as slow moving, but for me, it's thoroughly enchanting. The amount of details that this author puts is the perfect amount. The way that she keeps the story moving with little mysterious details and, you know, nuances and magical realism, and even like little tidbits of foreshadowing a future romance in this book. The way that she does it is absolutely exquisite. I'm actually, if I could find a synonym for enjoying, that'd be great. I am really, really into this story. I think it's so magical. I think it's, I don't even know if whimsical is a word, but it is just enchanting. It's charming, it's enchanting. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna read as much as possible so I can finish this book and then finish this reading vlog. So without further ado, cue the reading montage. I'm on page 208, and let me read to you this quote that I think is just so good. I believe you have my umbrella, he says, almost out of breath, but wearing a grin that has too much wolf in it to be properly sheepish. There's just something about good writing that just uses the proper amount of similes, the proper amount of metaphors. The wordplay is just so on point that it just does something. Like, it just changes your chemistry. Like, it just hits your heart in the right way. And that's why I love reading so much. That's why I love writing so much. It's just, I don't know. It's just something else. It's so great. Anyways, back to reading. guys, it has been a few days and I have officially finished The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So now that I have finished all the books that I was able to read in this video, let's talk about them. I read 3 books in this video. Unfortunately, I was unable to get to A Court of Silver Flames, but I may or may not be putting this in my October TBR video. So stay tuned for that. That should be out within a couple days. Let's go into the books that I did manage to read. So I read The Blood of Olympus, Reckless, and The Night Circus in this video. The Blood of Olympus, I have settled on a 4.75. I talk about this extensively in my September wrap up, so I'm not going to get into it too much right now. I will say that I wish it had more of Percy Jackson in it. I love the characters. I love how he wrapped everything up. I wish that we got every single detail within his story. He kind of missed pockets of days and weeks where the characters were traveling that he usually would have written every single day of each character's lives. In this book, he didn't do that, but it's still okay. It was still a really, really phenomenal book, and it set up the scene perfectly for his Adventures of Apollo or something series. And then he's actually continuing the Percy Jackson series. So I may or may not be reading those as well. Then I read Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I am a full-on Lauren Roberts fan. I think her writing is so beautiful. I think she really has skill. I do think she might have overdone it in this book with the metaphors and alliterations. I talk about it extensively in my wrap-up and in this video, so I'll be brief. I rated this one 4 stars. The reason why I rated it 4 stars is because the last 100 pages were so strong, so well done. They got me hooked and they got me excited for Fearless. If a book can do that, in my book, it was good. 4 stars. I know it was just a filler book, but I enjoyed it. And the last book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I unfortunately did not enjoy this book as much as I wish I could have. It had a lot of themes and a lot of topics in it that I generally avoid because I don't associate myself with such things. I will say though that Erin's writing is probably one of the most beautiful pieces of literature I have ever read before. I really resonate with her writing style. I think it's beautifully done. You feel like you're in the story when you're reading it. The scents that she writes down, you feel like you can smell. The sights that she writes down, you feel like you can see and touch. Other than that, I'm not going to be reading this book. I'm actually going to be giving it to a free little library just because the Lord and I agree this book is not for me. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys were excited for me to read A Court of Silver Flames, I still probably might. Subscribe if you want to see more fall reading diaries like these, and I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys, and peace.